hello everyone, welcome back to Ki-West. Happy Friday night, happy kickoff for the 4th of July weekend, I guess. So we are on the corner of Angela Street and Duval Street, and we're going to be headed over to Mallory Square, down Duval Street. So welcome everybody, it's great to have you back. Hello Richard and Queenie Beans, Larry Bad Boy, hello Tinley and John and Susan. Hey Melly, Mary, John. Hope everybody's doing good, you guys. Hey Rosie, Robert. Hey Peggy and Brian. Welcome to Ki-West. So, if you have been following our streams, you know that the 4th of July weekend is a little bit different this year. The fireworks have been cancelled, unfortunately. Obviously, the city of Key West and all of the Florida Keys, by the way, all the other islands have done the same thing. It's cancelling the fireworks to avoid that people kind of group together in too much of a crowd, and same goes for the beaches. So currently the beaches are closed here in Key West and the rest of the Keys. And so in order to make things more fun, what they did is they closed down Duval Street for car traffic. So all of Duval Street, all the way from Truman Avenue over there to the very end where we're gonna go now, it's all been open to pedestrians, so the bars can move out tables so people can spread out. So there is a lot of space. So we're walking in the middle of Duval Street. So again, we start at the corner of Angela Street. So we're pretty much halfway between the Atlantic and the Gulf of Mexico, and we are headed toward the Gulf of Mexico to Mallory Square. See what's going on there for the sunset today. So again, no cars on Duval Street for the whole weekend. They started this afternoon and it's gonna go all the way until Monday morning, I think. As you know, bars, like traditional bars, just drinking bars, are closed here in Key West and in all of Florida. And so the places that are open, pretty much, I mean, I have to be honest, pretty much everything is open. So just a couple of bars have closed, amongst them, unfortunately, our home bar, Captain Tony's, where Gabe is playing. I think the Green Room has closed down. So those were the ones that are bars only. And a lot of the places are actually functioning as restaurants, so whoever was selling alcohol as part of a restaurant setup is still allowed to do so. I think you can even sit at the bar, but of course it's mandatory to wear masks. And it's okay to not wear them out here right now, because it's pretty easy at this point to social distance. We'll see what it's going to be like, let's say at 11 o'clock tonight on Duval Street. Sorry guys, we're not gonna stream that for you. And I am of course wearing my mask because it's a little bit complicated to pull it up and down whenever it gets more crowded. Right now it's fine, but Mallory Square has been a little bit crowded over the last sunset streams. So welcome everybody. It is Friday night. It's our TGIF stream. So again, walking right in the middle of Duval Street, which is closed to cars for the whole weekend. Good to see some of you have their drinks in their hands. And of course we do have a couple of businesses that are closed because they had people testing positive, so they closed down to clean up things. Again, Willie T's is considered a bar, although they do have food. The rule of thumb here is if more than 50% of your sales are coming from alcohol, you are supposed to close down to avoid that people kind of just congregate and stand around and talk. It's totally fine if you're able to sit down and spread out a little bit. So Willie T's was actually the first bar here in Ki-West to close because of an employee testing positive. There are a couple of others. I think the most recent one actually is Hog's Breath. Hog's Breath was still operating as a restaurant after they closed down the bars. But it looks like all the rest tonight is up and running here. Of course, Margaritaville is open. Margaritaville has been open during the whole pandemic, doing takeout food for locals. So welcome to everybody who just joined. If this is your first time with us, we are a local Ki-West live streaming channel. Pretty much everything we do is streamed live. Lots and lots of music and sunset walks. We normally also do events. Of course, right now, a lot of the events are postponed, not necessarily cancelled. So welcome everybody. I see we have Scott who's back, and Sandy, and Manu. Hello, Chris. Bonsoir, Jean-Yves. Our late night Frenchman watching from across the pond. It's pretty late, especially during the sunset stream. So welcome back, Jean-Yves. I see Bad Boy has found a rental house for January. That's really cool. I bet you are excited to get back to the island. Hello, Tara. Yes, Richard, the hotels are still at 50%, so are all the indoor locations, like indoor restaurants, and the outdoor restaurants can operate at 100% as long as they can guarantee social distancing of 6 feet. But yes, the hotels are still at 50%. Hope you guys can hear me, because as I mentioned before, I am wearing a mask just because it's just easier to just wear it right away than just pulling it up whenever I get too close to somebody. And things are getting a little busier here. Approaching the corner of Duval Street and Caroline Street. Again, Duval Street is closed for traffic all weekend, so people have space to spread out. Plus, it's so much nicer walking down Duval. So Susan is asking if there is a roadblock at the entrance of Ki-West. No, there is not. We had a roadblock up in Key Largo when the pandemic started. That roadblock has been taken down on June 1st, so ever since there is no roadblock. We do have a somewhat natural roadblock currently occurring because they are redoing Cow Key Bridge, which is the last bridge before you enter Ki-West. So they're doing construction there, so in case you hear anybody say that they're stuck in traffic at the entrance of Ki-West, it's not a checkpoint, it is construction. And it's construction Ki-West style, so it might take a while. Just so you are aware, in case if you're planning on driving down, apparently traffic is pretty bad. So heavy traffic and construction. So they were planning that bridge renovation for quite a while, during the summer months, of course, which for us is normally a little bit quieter, but everything has shifted a little bit in terms of timeline. Or maybe it's just because things have been so empty that now this actually feels pretty crowded to me. But unless you hit like a really big part of the traffic, even Cow Key Bridge is fine. I mean, we went over to Stock Island just earlier today to pick up some more mangoes, because as you know, it is mango season. And we were getting some more because they're just like totally ripe right now. And if we have too much, we just chop them up and freeze them. But there is this little market on Stock Island that is selling local fruit and vegetables. So we went to load up on mangoes mainly, and lots of other seasonal stuff. So here we are, corner of Caroline Street and Duval Street. So these are the restaurants that are restaurants and bars. They are allowed to continue to operate. I have to admit, I'm not sure if you have to order food with your drinks, but I'm pretty sure you do. I remember that was the case when Schooner first opened, when the bars were all closed down still. And so as long as you have your late lunch, early dinner, whatever, you can have drinks. I'm not sure what it's like now. I would have to go and ask the people sitting at the bar, but again, traditional bars that don't sell food are currently closed. Which makes this part of Duval Street actually a little bit quieter than the previous block. So we are in the heart of Old Town Ki-West, so this is normally the party stretch with all the bars. So obviously the bars being closed, it is quiet over here. So it looks like the previous block is actually way more crowded. So Irish Karen's, of course, is closed.
Hi. Can I say something? You must wear your mask. Dr.
Yes.
Fauci says oxygen is bad
Yes.
for the human body.
Yeah. So of course, Irish Karen's still closed. Irish Karen's was another one of the bars that had a employee test positive, so they closed down and are still sanitizing everything, which happened literally like 48 hours before they closed the bars down anyway. Although Irish Karen's does have food, so they might be able to reopen soon. Over here we have the Tree Bar, part of the Dirty Harry and Rick's complex over here. So of course this is a bar only, so that part is closed. The pizza place is open, and of course you are aware that Sloppy Joe's was the very first bar in Ki-West to close on March 17th. Actually, they never opened on March 17th. They closed on the 16th at night, and they have not reopened. They have not reopened as a restaurant or as a bar after they were allowed to. They didn't feel it was safe. So they are updating regularly on social media. So they are waiting to reopen. So that's the one of our main bars over here at the corner, although again Sloppy Joe's also serves food, so they could operate as a restaurant if they chose to. Over there, Green Room is a bar, so it is closed. And our friends at Amigos here have put out chairs so that you can sit and dine outside. Of course, over here, Captain Tony's is closed. And the Tiki Bar does takeaway drinks. So the bars are allowed to do takeaway drinks. It is Ki-West after all, so don't worry about running out of drinks. Cute little yellow car in front of the yellow bar. And of course, since they closed down Duval Street, it's also a nice way for everybody who's coming into town to admire the great work that they did on Duval Street. It's really smooth now. No more tripping. Can't blame it on the street anymore. They redid the sidewalks and the road, so no excuses. And they also redid Green Street here. So no more potholes. So we're going to take the long way via Margaritaville Resort over to Mallory Square. So official sunset time is 8:19. we have some time. So 60s is asking if we can drink on the street or bring our own. Now, technically speaking, the answer is you probably can walk down the street with a to-go cup. And of course, thanks. Of course, now with the bars being allowed to do takeout, it kind of blurs the lines a little bit, so I would say right now, yes. It's Ki-West, you pretty much can do that anytime. There is an official law saying that you can't. But again, a lot of the bars are outside to begin with. So sometimes the lines between what is part of the bar and what is like the sidewalk is blurry too. Basically everything is blurry. And it gets blurrier the later it gets, I guess. So I'm not really sure what the official answer to that question is, Susan. Thank you so much, Angel, for the super chat. Thank you so much. I might grab a coconut on the way. We haven't been over to Mallory just yet. We're on our way to see if the coconut man is there. Although it might get a little complicated. I forgot to bring a straw. And I'm wearing one of those masks that don't go behind your ears, but they wrap around your head. So I'm not really sure how I would logistically manage a coconut tonight. I didn't think of that when I grabbed this mask. So this side here is always a little quieter. So if you guys want to come for a little sunset walk and don't want to be around too many people, you want to avoid the crowds, this side of the Margaritaville Pier is a great location.
Yeah, the mechanic's over there now. We have 2 more units coming over so they can clear it out.
Okay, good. Say it on the road.
Yeah, I went back here and I came back and I told the lieutenant.
Oh, looks like we have some clouds here, so maybe we're in for a nice colorful treat tonight. I was about to say, Michael asked if Latitudes is still open. I'm pretty sure it is. Again, our restaurants have been open for quite a while now. We see the ferry go back and forth, so if you have a reservation at Latitudes, you hop on the ferry that leaves over there. And you're being taken over to Sunset Key. So at this point, basically everything that is restaurant related, except maybe a couple of exceptions, are open. And those exceptions are the ones that decided to stay closed. We know a couple of places that closed down for this weekend in particular. So you can see the sunset is slowly moving back towards the left side of Sunset Key. As the days become shorter again. So official sunset time, 8:19 tonight. So this is a little bridge where the Margaritaville side connects to Mallory Square. So it looks like we don't have any of the artists tonight performing here on Mallory Square. And I see there are these gates here, so I'm not really sure which way they're supposed, but they are open. So I'm not sure if, well, it's definitely not the Margaritaville side that is closed, given that the bar is open, so we'll see. I do have a doubt now. I haven't read anything about Mallory Square being closed tonight, but given that they closed a lot.
They changed their minds again. You're more than welcome to stay. This stuff changes every 5 minutes, so I apologize.
Oh, we can stay?
Okay, we are allowed to stay. They kept a lot of the people out, so I guess it must have been closed at some point. There are no performers here tonight, so it's not the official sunset celebration. And due to that, it is pretty quiet, so they must have had some of those barriers up earlier. Maybe to avoid of too many people coming in here, and then they let in the ones that were actually here. I have no idea. So this looks pretty nice. If you have been with us during one of those previous sunset streams, you could see how crowded Mallory Square started to get. The sunset cruises are operating at 50%. Looks like we have a lot of sunset sailing tours going out tonight, which is interesting because there is literally no wind. Thank you so much, Rosie, for supporting our channel. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. So, Angel, looks like no coconuts tonight. None of the coconuts guys are here. Again, I'm pretty sure this whole 4th of July weekend, they asked the artists to not perform because they tend to draw a crowd. Or selling coconuts and guacamole, whichever. So this is a much quieter sunset than I I was prepared for this. Actually really nice. Plus we might get some really cool colors. So guys, you can see from the barriers here that they definitely closed off Mallory. Because normally so the sunset celebration is supposed to start about 2 hours before sunset. That's when everybody is setting up. The artists and the vendors. About, yeah, probably like around 2 hours before sunset time. So they would start around, I'd say 6:30. So they close it off then. But it looks like somebody has moved the barriers on the Margaritaville side. So maybe technically we jumped the gates, I have no idea. So I'm gonna do my little wall thing here. And El Maison de Pepe is giving us a little Cuban musical background. Oh, nice. Full moon. Let me see if I can. Sorry, 60s Flower Child, I didn't see your message. You were trying to get a screen grab of that sailboat. Now we do have some people in front of it. Could get a little bit further down here though.
Sit down, take a picture.
I do have a tiki bar to offer though, now that the sailboat is gone. Yeah, we're definitely getting some nice colors here. That is not a very smooth zoom.
Good talking to you, man.
Absolutely. Southwest Michigan.
Go Gators.
So getting close to official sunset time. Of course, we don't see the actual sunset because it disappears behind Sunset Key just before. There she goes. You can still see her peek out behind the palm trees a tiny little bit.
Cole's gonna wait to see somebody else.
Oh, Mom, Dad, and all the family except for me have to jump.
If I saw somebody else jump before I even got the chance, then I'd probably win.
Just a little too late.
Four more minutes until official sunset time. But she's hiding behind Sunset Key. So let's see if we're getting a little bit of an afterglow while we go and check out what's going on in downtown Key West on this Friday night. Oh look, Angel, the coconut vehicle is here. It just has not been supplied with coconuts or anybody who's opening them. Sorry guys, taking you through the parking lot here. There we go. Oh, looks like we can't get through here. So we'll take this way around. So these are the old warehouses here on Mallory Square.
Take this thing. It's called chop.
And then me and her grabbed it. You know what? I realized you make me feel. So let's see if we can see some of the afterglow colors.
Yeah.
Took a little shortcut through Chicken Alley, which is now Cuban Music Alley, I guess. The chickens are back to being fed. The restaurant is opened.
This train right now
He's only 62 years old, like 2 years ago.
So that was pretty nice. I'm not really sure what the plan was. So I think Mallory Square, the initial plan was to close it down to avoid too many people flocking to it for the sunset celebration. And then when they realized in the end there weren't that many people, they opened it just like 20 minutes before sunset. The normal sunset celebration starts 2 hours before. That's when the artists and the vendors set up. So of course they aren't here selling or performing this weekend. So many of the activities that draw a lot of people have been suspended, like the beaches have been closed and we don't have the fireworks. Aligned with all the rest of the Keys. So let's go and see how busy it is now on Duval Street. So we had one block earlier that was pretty busy. So again, the traditional bars are closed. So any place that only sells alcohol is pretty much closed. And has been for about a week now. However, all the restaurants that also serve drinks, etc. are open. 50% inside and 100% capacity outside, as long as people can kind of stay away from each other. So we had the block just after Caroline Street. That was pretty busy, where you have the Hard Rock Cafe and Caroline's Cafe and the Grand. So we'll go and check that out on our way back. And then we have the block that normally is like the heart of the Ki-West nightlife, which is the corner of Green Street and Duval Street, which is pretty quiet right now because everything around that area is mainly bars, the kind of bars that are now closed. Guys, if you've been joining us later, welcome to Ki-West. If this is your first time with us, very happy to have you. We are a local live streaming channel. Most of what we do is streamed live right here from the island. So tonight we're having a little Friday night sunset walk. And we also cover events. Not that there are many events to cover right now, given that most of them are being postponed. But we also do a lot of music streams. So we're gonna have another music stream tomorrow, a little bit earlier than our usual one. So we're gonna do 4 till 6 instead of 5 till 7. So tomorrow we have a porch session. If you wanna join us for a little music and some song requests and chatting with some friends, please do join us tomorrow at 4 p.m. Island time. Gabe's gonna play some music, play your song requests. 4 p.m. is probably around the time you light your grill, or I don't know. We might be lighting ours, so here the Tiki House does do take-out drinks. I think Richard mentioned a little zombie earlier. It is getting busier here now. Of course, Amigos here with their outdoor dining area. Beautiful brand new red tables and chairs. So the green room over here is closed, but they do have a takeout bar. Of course, Sloppy Joe's is closed. We mentioned that earlier. They have been closed since March 16th. They didn't even open on the 17th when everybody else closed down. And they did not reopen in between and before the second shutdown. Thank you, Melly and Steve. Thanks for the super chat, guys. So over here, smoking tuna. Good question. Let's check if smoking tuna is open. So Irish Kevin's is closed. Although Irish Karen's is kind of a restaurant as well as a bar. They closed down because they had an employee test positive. Rick's also had somebody testing positive the day before they were supposed to close down anyways. So there is a pretty good example. This is a pretty good example of why the bars are closed. So yes. So smoking tuna here is open. Of course, for food. Pretty sure they do have live music from time to time. I don't know if Joe is watching. Joe, I don't think I've seen you. Joe always knows who is playing. So smoking tuna is open for dinner. Of course, we'll give you updates on how it's going here in Ki-West on this 4th of July weekend. If you want, you can come over to our Facebook page where we post information about Ki-West and the latest updates whenever we're not streaming. And it's also a great way to stay up to date with the streaming times. So our Facebook page is also called Right on the Rock. So things are getting busier now. And we will be headed in this direction too. So this is the bar block here between Green Street and Caroline Street. And of course these two over here are permanently closed. The Rooster Tail or the Loose Cannon. Why is it called the Rooster Tail again? It was the Loose Cannon when it closed, and then before that it was the Rooster Tail. And so this kind of, I'm a little bit confused by that one now. So that place has opened and closed quite sometimes. So they just reopened under a new name just before they got shut down during the pandemic. So here the Bull is open for takeout. So just so you know, the bars are allowed to sell drinks to go. It's really to avoid people gathering at a bar and standing at the bar without a mask on and just grouping together. So the bars can, so you're definitely not running out of drinks. They can serve you. But once you have your drink, you can walk down Duval Street. So again, Duval Street, all redone, all repaved, and closed for car and vehicle traffic all weekend. And open for us to walk down.
I thought it was like way back there.
Just like Disney.
So for example, over here, Fat Tuesdays, which is not a restaurant, it's a bar. You can do takeout or whatever it is that they're doing. I actually do think they are a restaurant, so nope, they are closed inside, so they're selling their drinks to go. They are the ones with all those colored drinks, I think. It's like drinking a rainbow. Hi, just see hello Joe, there you are. Was just talking about you because you always know who's playing at the Smoking Tuna, but it sounded like they didn't have live music tonight. They are open, operating as a restaurant. So it does get quieter here. Again, that was the food block here. That corner of Green Street. That corner of Duval Street and Caroline Street. Got the moon peeking out here. So this part of Duval Street here is a little bit quieter. But soon we're gonna hit the restaurants again. Sounds like we need a little bit of background music here. So this part here, definitely really quiet. So the next block is going to be busier again. Thank you so much, Sandy, for the super chat. Thank you. All the way from Canada. Thank you so much. So I think we have Sandy and Melly and Tara from Canada. Although I think Tara logged out for the night. Our Canadian friends just had their national holiday. And I feel like I've been celebrating national days the whole time. So the Luxembourg national holiday is June 23rd. And of course we had the Canadian National Day, 4th of July tomorrow, and then Bastille Day on the 14th of July. So it seems like they all within like 3 or 4 weeks. Sorry guys, look at this beautiful empty Orogold storefront. If you don't know who Orogold is, they were like these rip-off stores here on Duval Street, and we literally had to have locals standing in front of the store with signs just to make sure tourists don't get ripped off who didn't know about it. Obviously, you know, it's a small island, everybody knew about those stores, and kind of very interesting business model that they had. So they closed down. Of course, here Willie T's is currently closed. Willie T's qualifies as a bar, and they closed just before all the bars were ordered to close because they had an employee test positive, like several bars here. Again, that's why I mentioned earlier. It's a pretty good example why we've got to be careful with those bars. So this is, let me see if I can get this with a wide angle. Always have a hard time getting this building in one shot. Look at those colors. Just been renovated. At the same time they redid Duval Street. Doing the shutdown here. So Duval Street is closed all the way from the Gulf side to Truman Avenue. So it's not closed all the way to the Atlantic, but after a while it's actually really quiet. So guys, our newly repaved Duval Street. So more restaurants over here. Antonia's has some tables out here. Only Wood is hidden in that area. They have a little outdoor area. Beautiful little garden where you can sit. So I think this gives you a pretty good idea what's currently going on in Ki-West on this Friday night, kickoff of the 4th of July weekend.
Let's do let's see. It's gotta be some sort of all right. Different version.
So guys, we're almost at the end of our stream. I'm going to leave you at the corner of Duval Street and Petronia, where our brand new rainbow crosswalks have been installed. They're a little bit different than the previous ones, so if you've known the previous ones, the new ones look a little bit different. They're actually running across the street, so I'll show you what I mean by that. Kind of sounds wrong. So again, Duval Street is closed all the way to Truman Avenue. And you are probably missing the Bahama Village arch right here. That has been taken down for renovation. They are repainting it. So they are going to put that back up. Of course, we'll keep you updated. So here we are. Looks like we have some traffic here. Not nice Last little shot of the... Wait, that was the wrong camera. There you go. Guys, enjoy your night. Thank you so much for all of you watching. Thanks for supporting our channel. Thanks for the tips. We'll be back tomorrow, 4 till 6. 4 till 6, live from the porch. A little music stream, a little island music stream. Come join us on the porch. If you feel like kicking back, a little drink, probably around the time everybody's lighting the barbecues. So thanks again, have a great night and take care everybody.